Well, this is that pie safe that I bought at the rummage sale the other day for 10 bucks. Now, I had been debating about, the thing is in good shape. It isn't really beat up. So I was debating to leave it as it was, though it's, kind of ugly paint, or to repaint it, and then I decided, well, I'll strip this old paint off. So I actually got some paint stripper. Now, I've never used that stuff before. This stuff has been on there, about 20 minutes maybe. Yeah, it's, because I'm thinking I really could leave it just galvanized. That's right, you can't sand it or anything because it would scratch up the galvanizing. But I think I could just peel this paint off with that stripper and get it down to the plain galvanized, and then I think it'd be okay. Like it's got kind of fancy embossing, which really is to kind of reinforce it, but I can see I've got multiple layers of paint on here. But I don't know what it originally was. But it looks like it was white, then it was yellow, and then it was white again. So, it's going to take a little strip to get it off, but I think it'd be worth it. Because basically the thing is in pretty good shape. The idea of one of these is to be able to keep your pies in an area where nothing can get at them. It's not exactly airtight, but it's tight enough. So for pies and bread, that kind of thing, easily goes. I mean, you could put a multi-layer cake in there, pies on the bottom. So it'll serve very well. But I really debated, on what color if I should paint it. But if I can get all this paint off, I think I'll just leave it right galvanized. It's like a galvanized pail. Nothing wrong with a galvanized pail. So I think that's the way I'll go with this. And the only thing they had done at one time, they had put a piece of linoleum in this recessed top. Well, I pulled that off. There was some kind of adhesive holding it on. And of course it was curled up on the edges. And a thing like this is just a catcher for stuff, where it can't fall off. So my thought here would be make a board to fit that, or slightly bigger than that, and like an inch thick. This is about a 3/4 inch lip, so I could actually I could cut out the board so I have something hanging over, like even a 1/4 inch. Then the top surface would be a great place to put your pies and cakes when you're cutting them, So that would clean up that whole top problem. So I think that'll work. But I debated about that for a while, if what color to paint. And I think really, because originally I doubt it had any color on it. But then, somebody spruced it up with white, and then somebody really went wild with the yellow. And then white again. But 3 layers, that's going to take a little work to get that off. Well, I better put a piece of plastic down, or the paint chips will be ate by the chickens, which would probably do them no good. But that stripper does seem to work. I mean, it bubbles that stuff up, but it's just that there's multiple layers I'm dealing with here. So it's going to be a little work. But I think I can bring it back pretty well. It ain't really dinged up or anything. It just got that awful paint on it. But I've never used a paint stripper before. But this stuff supposedly works on metal. So we'll try it, and it's kind of a gel. It isn't really a liquid, it's a kind of a gel. But I'm sure it's caustic as all get out, but that's the only way I can get that off of there. Well, fire might do it, I don't know. But I would, you don't really want to heat galvanized things up that much either. The other thing I'm going to work with too is this clothes washing agitator. Now this is different, and this isn't galvanized, this is tinned. Well, sort of the same thing, where I can't sand that off. Well, you could, but but I think I can get that cleaned up enough with the stripper. We'll try it, because this is a pretty good solid unit. And you can see she's been worked hard. I mean, she's rolled on the edges here from pounding in the wash tub. So I'll try some stripper on that too. And the other thing I'm working on are these two pumps. Now I took this Monarch pump apart. Yeah, that's the Monarch symbol there, kind of a lion. And I think I'll take my hone, well, I'll glass bead the whole thing, and then I think I can hone it to get any rough spots out of it. But I said these are, the leathers for these are still available. Fleet Farm actually carries them. So, that'll be easily fixed. The only thing, like there's two leathers. There's the one on the piston here, which is that cup one. Then there's a flapper one here. There should be a flapper that goes out here. Now the one thing, I believe this was supposed to have a metal weight on that flapper. A little cast iron piece, and I might have one of them around. I'll have to look, because I got a few of these kicking around. But that, or they might even be available too, but that metal piece is designed, it helps close that flapper valve, but also then, after you're done pumping, if you lift all the way up on the handle, it will crack open this bottom flapper and let any water that's in there drain out. So if it's in a place where it gets cold, you won't have water sitting in there and freeze and break the pump. That means you got to prime it again next time you use it, but you don't break your pump. And they, I probably will search out that same blue, because they came blue. Everyone I've seen is blue. Like I said, they still make them. Though, I don't know, like this is made in Canada. I say new ones, probably China. China loves making cast iron stuff. But these, I know the parts are available. This might be a little bit harder to find parts for. Now, somebody had sandblasted this one, and I'm going to have to soak them bolts before I get that apart, but this has got the brass cylinder. But that looks like a pretty standard pump leather, so I'm not too worried about that. The packing up here might be a little harder to find, though I think you can make one. Because like I say, these are made so you can actually pump higher than the pump. The idea is to put a garden hose on and pump uphill with it. But that's why it's got this extra piece in here, so that that rod stays straight, so that it can have a packing on it. But I'm going to have to soak them bolts before I get that apart, because I think somebody just, sandblasted the whole thing as one unit, instead of disassembling it and sandblasting it. But this I'll probably paint red. I have some Rust-Oleum red, just a plain dull red, that I used on them power poles, and that stuff is amazingly tough. So I figure, okay, that'd be good red for on this pump. But the pie safe, I think, and I won't paint the cylinder. I'll have to polish that up because the sandblasting made it rough. But I'll polish that up. But at least that shouldn't be rusted inside like this one is. I should hone it out or you'll wear your leathers out. But next time I go to Fleet Farm, I'll pick up some leathers for it. And then I'll have to look and see if I've got that weight. Or, like I said, they probably are available yet. Because it is, you know, a round to seal, then there's a round flopper, but I'm pretty sure there was a weight on there that was designed that you could drain the pump. And I should probably soak this because this has got to unscrew from that cage. And they can be tough on any of these type of pumps. You know, you could break the cage. Though, probably got another one. But I think I'll get a piece of plastic to put under that. And maybe put it up on something. Trying to keep the chickens from getting the paint remover in them because I don't think that'll do them any good. But I like that pie safe. And especially, you know, if I can put a board top with that slight overhang. That really spruce her up. Because I don't know what the theory of the recess is. I think it's just to give it strength, but you know, it really is a crumb catcher. But I like these kind of projects, and I think that's going to be a handy device, you know, for keeping your pies out of the hands of critters.